Hey, Alyssa, my name is Justin. Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. And thank you for taking the time today to join us here and talk a little bit more about this movie. I had a chance to see Peter Pan and Wendy last night, and very enchanting movie. I absolutely adored your performance as Tiger Lily. I think it was charming, and there was a sense of stoicness, wisdom, and just very heartfelt all around. So I really, really enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
my first question kind of actually just starts right there. In your own words, how would you describe Tiger Lily's personality and what motivates her throughout this movie?
Um, what inspires her personality is mostly my culture, like where I'm from, and
Right.
just growing up. Like I didn't have my culture actually growing up. I didn't know much about it, but as a young
Hmm.
adult, I started to learn and reconnect, and I found a community of elders, and they did these ceremonies. So I sat with them for a few years, and that was the biggest thing that meant the most to me was that connection to ceremony and community. So that's Tiger Lily's heart. That's
Mm,
her core. That's who she is. And I knew that she needed that at her core. I know that that's where she lives. Like
right.
that's her whole life because it's way back like in the 15 when 1600, I don't know. It
Yeah.
was way
It's
back
way back. It's a way back playback.
way back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So I was like, she needs to be supernatural. This
Mhm.
is her whole life. And yeah, just the teachings, everything that she is driven by is from our home, our ceremony.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's from you. I love that you were able to find a way to very instinctually bring your culture into it meaningfully, and that just
Mhm.
jumps off the screen. It's been heavily criticized in the past. The depiction of Tiger Lily perpetuates, very harmful stereotypes. However, in this film, there is such an attention to detail on the cultural aspect, and it's portrayed in such an honest and beautiful way. Again, you've already elaborated on how you might have brought some of that to your character, but
Mhm.
working with the production, how did you guys come to bring that to life in such a respectful, authentic way that honored indigenous cultures?
Well, I think that started first with the script. When I read the script, it was done so beautifully, and I noticed that it was left to also my interpretation. So there was a lot of like spots that I could fill in with my own take and my own character that I could bring in there. And really early on as well, David reached out to me and he asked if I wanted to bring in my own Cree culture into the film instead
Mhm.
of creating it from somebody else's point of view. So I was all for it, of course. That was the best day ever. I was like, yes, like this is really good now.
Right.
But after that, we had all these cultural meetings. It was a team just for like all of our cultural aspects that we would talk about everything and make sure that things are being taken care of and looked after. So I was on that team just because I wanted to make sure everything was also being taken care of from my point of view. And for Tiger Lily, I didn't want things to be, you know, look the other way or anything. I needed to make sure that every detail was in place.
Mhm.
And we also had our cultural consultant, Dr. Kevin Lewis, on site whenever I needed him,
Right.
and he helped me a lot with the language as well. And my mushum was a big part of it. He was even though he wasn't like hired on by Peter Pan and Wendy, he
Right.
was still there for me throughout the whole thing. Yeah, and my grandma as well. My grandma was there for me for throughout all of the Cree language. I would just call her, even though she doesn't answer her phone most of the time. I would call her up and I'd be like, "Grandma, I need to know this. I need need your help."
Right.
But yeah, she was a really big help to me as well.
Yeah.
What was the question? I can't even remember.
Well, no, that was the question. It's really
Okay.
what went into
Oh,
bringing
okay.
it all to life, because it looked like it was a group effort, even for the small amount of time that
Yeah.
we do see Tiger Lily's people and the sort of collective community, it all looked really enriched. I have
Mhm.
read that there was an attention to detail applied. So I just wanted to get a little bit more and wanted to know how your involvement worked with that. And I think that's great. I think that you got to bring a lot of yourself, your own identity into the character of Tiger Lily to help define her in this adaptation. And that's what you want really at the end of the day. You want to be it to
Yeah.
feel authentic and real. And most importantly, as I'm sure for yourself as an actor, to feel rooted into something that you can very much connect with. So I absolutely love that. Um,
Yeah.
Now I'm sure like this was a massive production, and I'm sure it wasn't all easy. So with that, were there any challenges that you had to overcome in approaching, playing Tiger Lily in this adaptation?
Oh, there was tons. The few that stick out to me though is early on in the beginning of production for me, just when I went into character um, analysis and breaking down who Tiger Lily was. That was a challenge in itself for me because I realized that I can no longer live in my own comfortable bubble of just being me.
Mhm.
And I knew that I would have to let go of who I was, like who I was holding myself back from being almost. Because at that time I was really kind of closed off. I kind of
Yeah.
didn't really, I wasn't into my confidence. I guess I wasn't really there yet. And
Yeah.
with Tiger Lily, she's everything. She is, she's bold and she is beautiful inside and out, and she's confident and she knows exactly what to do at any given moment.
Yeah.
And so that was a big challenge for me personally, but I don't think anybody knew that.
No, of course not.
Um,
Yeah.
no, but and then there was also, I think, just knowing how big of a deal that this was, that
Yeah.
really stayed with me throughout the whole filming process.
Hmm.
So I would have to really, really hone in and use my skills that I learned from school and what I learned from ceremony to just be able to move through this whole experience, being as huge as it was, not let it take me down,
Right.
not let it affect me or scare me away from living in my truth and my moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those were two really, really big things that I think just personal development wise, those are big ones. And yeah, and everything else kind of just fell into place, even if there was things that were a little bit tricky that we had
Hmm.
to figure out with set props, you know just things. They worked out, and they were really supportive behind everything that I wanted or anything that I envisioned for Tiger Lily. They were there, so I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds like it was again a great collaboration. I'm
Yeah,
glad that you were able to feel like you were able to overcome some great sort of personal moments and find yourself. I love it because you're right. Tiger Lily portrays herself very confident and like she understands the situation, more so than anyone else in the movie, in my opinion. She's again wiser than she looks, right?
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that really does show in the performance. Now you're a storyteller as well behind the scenes. I know you like to make movies and tell stories. Is that something you still want to pursue as a passion outside of acting? Is that and if so, are there stories that you want to tell personally to yourself that you would love to explore in
yeah.
film?
Yes. Well, I think like my style is kind of truth telling.
Hmm.
It's like truth or dare, but it's like truth or truth. Um, that wasn't funny. But I'm very like driven towards true stories, real stories, and
Yes.
I think that comes out in Tiger Lily as well. But for me, I do love writing. I
Yeah.
love writing, and I am working on a couple projects at home right now,
Good.
just in early stages, but
Good.
I'm hoping that they make it out there. Yeah. Yeah, I love
Awesome.
documentaries as well, so I need to do a documentary.
That's great. I love that. I would love to see what you do behind the camera, especially after the short film that I saw.
Oh, did
I
you see it?
I did
Nice.
see it. I did see it. I did a little diving and I found it. And like you said, truth is what you want to sort of immerse yourself in when you're in your storytelling. So I think that
Yeah.
that's really great. My last question here. It's a fun question. We are called the Geekcentric Podcast, which means we just love to geek out over all the things we love. I wanted to know for yourself, what are some of your favorite things that you like to maybe geek out over? Is it any TV shows, movies, video games, books, hobbies, or just and anything that you just can't get enough of?
Oh, well, I'm a big geek. I love animals,
Right.
so I'm a huge animal person. My dog is was just running away from me before I set up this thing, but we love animals here. But also, I have my Xbox over there,
Yes.
my TV, and I love playing my Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
So yeah, I was a gamer girl growing up, and I don't want to let go of that because it's so fun.
Never.
Yeah, right.
No.
And yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know. I like food. I love
Um,
veganism.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
like one
cool.
of my biggest passions. So it's a little weird though. It's like one of those things that people are like, okay,
Well, yeah, well, it's again, it's become so much more relevant. I think
yeah,
it's a good thing and to promote it as well. I have a lot of friends that are definitely behind that as well.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Geekcentric podcast. It really means a lot. Like I said, your performance was fantastic. It definitely was a standout. So to have the opportunity to chat with you was really great. And I look forward to seeing what you do next, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, whatever it might be.
Thank you so much, and
Awesome.
thanks for watching my movie. Oh my god.
Thank you again. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your interviews.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye, Alyssa.